This episode is brought to you by The Guarantors. Facing rising renter fraud? Don't let fraudulent applications compromise your financial stability. The Guarantors provide a safety net that protects your rent roll and minimizes bad debt. Why risk it? Talk to The Guarantors and secure your property's financial health. Visit theguarantors.com/multifamily today. Back to the office. Everybody back to the office. It's interesting. I read an article. Actually, I heard this, I think over the weekend. Let's see, it was Saturday or Sunday. Amazon requiring 5 days in the office starting on January the 2nd. Andy Jassy, the CEO at Amazon, deciding that Virginia, Seattle, people are coming back to the office 5 days a week. Read an article today that talked about understanding the sentiment of current team members that it's too soon, right? We're not going to know how team members actually respond or react to the idea or the fact that they are actually going to have to come back to the office now, 3 years post-COVID, right? I think it's interesting. I have long been a fan of remote work or a hybrid version of work. Back in the day before there was this thing called remote work, we called it hoteling, right? You go to Starbucks or you go to some other coffee shop and you set up and you do your work from there. And or in some cases, in regional managers in the multifamily space, they really did remote. They've been doing remote for a very long bit of time, never really coming into the office 5 days a week because they were out on properties doing site visits, mentoring, coaching, teaching, training, property managers, maintenance supervisors, etc. So they had their own version of sort of remote work where they came into the office maybe 1 day a week to do a Monday meeting. And then the other 4 days of the week, or 3 days at least, they were spending out in the field, and maybe they come back in on Friday to sort of wrap up the week and get ready for the following or the week to come. A little bit different in an Amazon environment or a Netflix environment or some of these other big corporations where Apple, you bring people into the office, and it really is under the premise that there is so much more work that gets accomplished, not just task-oriented work, but work that requires this sort of collegial or a collaborative type environment where in person, when you're feeling the energy of another person or persons, it's kind of that idea of 3 minds come together and you get 6 minds worth of thought and ideas based on the discussions that you have, or those hallway conversations, those water cooler conversations, those coffee pot or Keurig or Nespresso machine conversations that happen these days. You get a lot more out of that time spent together in person than you do over a Zoom. It's so much more powerful now. Despite the fact that I was an advocate for, or I've always been an advocate or a long time advocate for remote work or hoteling or whatever we call it these days, I do like being in person for all the reasons that I just cited as it relates to energy, cross collaboration, cross-departmental, all these sorts of conversations that come together or come to be rather out of collisions that you might have at various places around your work environment. That is to believe, I guess, as a premise that your office is a place where you can have those types of interactions, that you do feel stimulated by being in that space and being around other people. So wondering, some of the property management firms out there that did go full remote and didn't really go back to any kind of in-person cadence, especially from CEOs or other people who drive the business. Are you going to bring people back into the office? Did you already bring people back into the office? Are you going to move forward in a hybrid version? Or is it a full 5 days back in the office? Just curious to hear your thoughts out there in the multifamily collective space. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.